Hey everybody, it's Garrett. One more time. So, this will be video number 3, and calling this Don't Make It Harder Than It Has to Be. This is about some of the over instruction we have all given each other, different things to try, different ideas, with how to enjoy this hobby. Now, there are some other factors to go into with why some of this advice matters or doesn't matter. Cover some of that in another video covering cuts and why certain cuts exist or what makes them attractive. But when you're first starting, there's enough videos out there about how to load your pipe to where, 1, I don't need to cover that, but 2, I need to clarify those, because the number one thing that's been brought to me when I've introduced someone or walked them through enjoying this, and I experienced it myself when I first started, was I made it too complicated. I had this thought from coming from cigars that it needed to be packed like tight, like a cigar was packed tight. And it needed to be done just so, like all the master rollers of cigars. And the beauty of the pipe is it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't need to be any of those things. And I didn't learn that, and I suffered for it. I overcomplicated it. There is nothing about this that is complicated if you choose to think about it from a abstract scientific point of view. So airflow is key when you're building a campfire, when you're doing anything with fire. Fire doesn't exist without oxygen. And with too much oxygen, fire will actually go out. You get a strong breeze, whatever. But just the right amount of airflow, and things start to gel. You don't want to overcomplicate this, and you want it to be smooth, and you want it to gel. If you think too much about, oh, I did just this and I did just that, and I just like they said to do this and that. Well, then there's this technique and then there's that technique. All of those things exist, and people have talked about them for a reason. But you don't have to do any of them. You don't have to do any of them to enjoy this. All you have to do is be able to draw. And in this order is what I would recommend. Draw, make sure you can, light it, tamp, light, whatever you need to do to get that started, and enjoy it. That's it. You don't need to worry too much about if you have just the right amount in there. You can fill it halfway up, you can fill it a quarter of the way up. Nobody cares. You'll be a little sad, I'm sure, once you start to enjoy it and you only filled it a quarter of the way up, because putting things on top will change the way everything works. You want to take it from top down, of course, but you can fill it halfway up. You can fill it a quarter of the way up, and just put it in there. There doesn't need to be any special instruction. You don't have to be worried about spilling it. You don't have to. There are people I've met who were convinced they needed to use hand sanitizer before they pack their bowl, because what if the germs from their hands get in there? And so we had this conversation about, 1, the hand sanitizer is going to have alcohols that are, if they don't taste good when you lick them on your hand, they're definitely not going to taste good when you burn them on tobacco. And 2, have you ever heard of germs that survive fire? That is why you do not typically see a whole bunch of guys walking around in a cigar shop loading pipes with rubber gloves on and hairnets before they enjoy it. You're not going to find that. You don't have to worry that much. You need to make sure you can draw and enjoy the draw that you're getting through the pipe. You need to make sure that you can take the time to sit down and relax and that you are not overstressed about this activity. And you need to make sure that your lighter works. That's what it comes down to, that you have the basic equipment and you have the time. Outside of that, everything is a choice, and you're going to learn what you like and what you don't like. You're not going to need to do much more than that. All you need to do is slow down and relax. So many guys I have seen, and they're shaking and they're shaking and they're so nervous. Did I do it right? You'll know if you did it right because you'll enjoy it. You'll absolutely know if you enjoyed it. No one's here to tell you if you're doing it wrong. And if someone did, they're barking up the wrong tree. They're not you. You're the one who's got to enjoy this. If there is something about the mechanics of your pipe, that can be adjusted. If there's something about you don't like the way that a certain thing tastes, well, those are things that can be changed. There can be different tobacco. Perhaps it's the wood in the pipe that you're using. Corn cobs at first have a taste. And then if you haven't modified it, you have the shank that comes in there, and that will burn when the ashes come down because hot things burn things that are flammable. That's how that works. So if you don't like that, that can be adjusted. Pear wood smokes sweet from the beginning, and then as they break in, it's just a joy. Briarwood is kind of some briar is kind of sawdusty when it's brand new, like that. Once the pipe breaks in, that will go away. There are things that can be adjusted, but that's up to you. You get to decide that. You get to decide so much of what is about to happen in what you're doing. There's no reason to overstress it. What cut is important doesn't really matter right now. What you're about to do is what matters, and that is sit down and enjoy yourself. There is nothing outside of that matters. Not a dang thing. Does it need to come in a ultra firm plug? Does it need to be in flakes? Does it need to be ribbon? No, none of it needs to be anything. I'm quite sure, not that I've encountered it myself, but it is totally plausible that you could take a whole leaf, rip some up, and prepare it however you felt like, put it in a pipe, and enjoy it. There's no reason that couldn't be had. I have never done it myself, but I guarantee someone out there has. There is no reason to put that much thought into it. You aren't doing this as a mental exercise. You shouldn't do this as a scheduled task. You should be doing this because it's something that you want to do. You have the time to do it. And just give yourself that time to enjoy it. Give yourself the ability to step forward and enjoy it. That is the number one thing that I have seen is so many people are overstressed and overthinking it. All I got for the first 4 or 5 bowls through my first pipe was hot air. And I was so frustrated. My tobacco smelled wonderful. It was a lovely vanilla aromatic. Vanilla is one of my very favorite flavors. And I wanted it in my drinks. I wanted it in my desserts. If there was a way to have it in addition to steak, I would have it in addition to steak. Someday I'll figure out how to combine it more with dinner. I love vanilla. I am vanilla. But there's no reason that I shouldn't have enjoyed that. And yet I overthought everything. And until I called a shop, I went in, I sat down with someone who had gone through all of this, and he stepped away from the counter. He sat with me for 20 minutes. And he continually had to stop me and slow me down. And I've had to do the same for anyone else who I've introduced to it, where like you can see that they are tense. You can see it. You can hear it as they're talking. It is nothing to be nervous about. You're just trying to enjoy yourself. At the end of the day, this hobby is no more complicated or hazardous for most parts than sitting next to and lighting a candle you enjoy. Because what are the things that you need to have for that? You need to be able to light the candle. You need to be able to burn the wax, which is slowing down the burn of the candle wick and either releasing a scent you enjoy or creating an ambiance you enjoy, whatever that thing may be. And then you need to be able to have the time to do it. That is it. That is as complicated as it gets. There's no reason that it has to be more than that. None. You can do this. It's entirely your prerogative how you're going to enjoy this and why. And most people who can learn to take a step back and slow down and try to enjoy that have. And I have introduced about 7 cigar smokers back to smoking pipes that they had tried once as a teenager and got laughed out of a shop for doing things wrong. This is not that complicated. And I've been told that if someone had mentioned that they didn't have to be so nervous, that if it didn't have to be some certain way somebody said, they probably would have given it another shot. And that is what it is. There is no failing at this. None. I don't see how it would be possible. I mean, I'm sure someone could think of a way. I'm sure it'll end up in the comments. But this is to enjoy yourself. This is for you just as much as sitting down reading a book and lighting a candle you enjoy, sitting under a favorite blanket. This is for you. That's it. Does it remind you of someone? It could. It's still for you. Is it to fill some time in your day? Yeah. But you're doing it for you. That is what it comes down to. It is something you're enjoying for you. And if you stress about what you're enjoying for you, I don't see how you could enjoy it. And you have to approach it that same way. Don't overcomplicate it. Just pack it, light it, and then enjoy it. To paraphrase something Yusuf has said 100 times in his videos that have since been taken down in the time of this filming. But it's not that complicated. Just don't overthink it. You'll get it. And I hope you guys have a great day. Talk to you later.